This is a standard product photo, the kind you see everywhere. And this is a stunning high-end CGI product video, the kind of shot that usually costs thousands. Also, this is another product photo, and this is the video that was produced from it. So here's the absolute insane part. This video was generated from this photo by an AI for just 31 cents. Getting professional CGI product videos is incredibly expensive and time-consuming, putting it out of reach for most e-commerce stores. You're usually stuck with boring, static images, so I built the solution. This is an AI creative director workflow. I built it in n8n. You literally just upload your product photo, maybe add a simple description like make it look refreshing, and this system automatically analyzes the product, designs an entire CGI commercial for it, writing the camera angles, the lighting, the motion, the sound effects, and then generates the final video, 100% on autopilot. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I built it, step by step, so you can do it too. Hey, if you're new here, I'm Alex, and I run Loopsera. We build AI systems for businesses just like this to help them save time and money. So yeah, if that sounds like something you need, just hit the link in the description. And if you've been following my AI automation tutorials and feel like you could use a bit of hands-on help, I'm now offering one-on-one coaching. So whether you're just getting started or stuck on something specific, I've got you. The link is in the description. The full workflow will be available for free in my free school community, so make sure to join if you want to grab it. Link is below. All right, so let's go ahead and do a demo. And this workflow is being triggered by a form submission. So let's click execute workflow. And as you can see, a form is going to pop up on your screen. And it requires me to upload a product photo, define the aspect ratio as either portrait or landscape, and then describe how I'd like the video to look like. So let's go ahead and upload a photo. So we are going to upload this Stanley Cup photo, this right here. So let's go ahead and upload it. And then we're going to define the aspect ratio. Let's go with landscape. And then for the description, let me just tell it to be creative. Let's hit submit. Now the form has been submitted. The workflow is now running. So it's uploading the photo to a Google Drive folder, and then it's going to analyze the image. Next, it's going to feed the image description to this creative director AI agent, which is then going to generate a video prompt for Veo 3.1. And then the prompt is going to be fed into Veo 3.1, the image to video generation model from key.ai. It's then going to download the video, upload it into a Google Drive folder, and then log all details into a database. So let's watch the video. So let's click view. Let's match it. So this is what it came up with, which is pretty interesting. So here's the cost breakdown. So Veo 3.1 is going to cost 30 cents per video for an 8-second long video. And then Gemini 2.5 Pro, the image analysis model, is going to cost 0.004 per image. And then GPT 4.1, the AI agent that's in charge of creative direction, is going to cost 0.0113 per run. So the cost is going to add up to 32 cents per video. Now that we've done the demo, let me go ahead and walk you through this workflow. So this workflow is being triggered by a form submission. And if you don't know how to add this, on the top right corner, you simply click on this plus button right there, and then search and then if you look at the bottom of the list, you'll see add a trigger, and then it's gonna be in the list here. So it's going to you're going to choose on form submission. You're going to click on it, and then under authentication you're going to leave it as none, and then you're going to give your form a title, you're going to give your form a description, and then you're going to add form elements. So you'll click add form elements, and then so for the first field will require is the image. So upload image, and then the type you're going to select. For the type you're going to select a file, and then we'll disable multiple files upload, and then we'll require this field. So you can't submit this form if you haven't uploaded a photo. So that's what happens when you check this. This is the node right here. Let's look at our specific node. So let's open it. So for the form title, we gave it this as the title. We didn't give it a form description. And then for the fields, we did the upload photo field, which is of type file. And then the aspect ratio is a drop down. And the options we've got is 9:16 and 16:9. Remember, remember every time you add a form element, you'll need to select the element type. So from this drop down list, you're going to look for a drop down. So you'll say, you'll select drop down and then add the options. So you'll click add field option to add the options. Next, we've got the description. So how we'd like the video to look like. And it's of type text. And you see from the demo we did, this is the image we uploaded from the form submission. And it's then going to upload this image to a drive folder. So this image is going to be uploaded to a drive folder, and this is the folder it's being uploaded to. So in your drive folder, you're going to create a new folder. So new folder, give it a relevant name, and then it's going to be added to this. So you'll see this so this is the product photo we uploaded. And so you're going to add a Google Drive node. So you click on this plus button, you're going to search for Google Drive, select it, and then you'll select upload a file. And then you're going to rename it to something relevant. So you'll give so for example, I named it upload product image. And then the resource is going to be file. The operation is upload. And then we give the input data field name. So it's the name of the file we just uploaded. So we'll copy this right here and paste it in this field right there. And then for the file name, we are uploading this. We are using this as the file name. And this is the expression we're using to grab the file name. So it's JSON upload product photo 0.filename. And then here we are specifying this folder. So it's my drive and then product photos folder. And then on your right, on the right window, you'll see all the details. So you'll get a web content link. So this is the link where you can download. If you open this link on a new tab, it's going to it's going to make you download the file. So let's go to the next node. So the next node is an analyze image node. And so from this plus button, you're going to select AI, then you'll select Google Gemini, and then you'll select analyze an image. So this, so the name is relevant in our case. And so here's the prompt. Now, this node analyzes the objects. So here we are giving it the analysis methodology. So step one, it's going to isolate the subject, and then it's going to systematically scan the subject. So this is step two. And then it's going to come up with a YAML structure based on the subject type as the output. It's going to pull the subject type, the analysis focus, and then it's going to give it a category, subcategory, physical structure, dimensions, construction, and then the primary material, all this, the colors, the branding elements, the functional features, and then it's going to spit out an output that looks something like this. So this is the YAML format. Now, this image description is what's going to be fed to our creative director. But let's finish with this node. So the resource is image. The operation is analyze an image, and then we're using Gemini 2.5 Pro to analyze the image. And then we are uploading the image URL. So the input type is the image URL. And the image URL on our left window, in the upload product image node, you'll see the web content link. You're going to drag and drop it in this field. And then we've left it as simplify outputs. Next, we are going to add an AI agent node. And you're going to click on the plus button and then select AI agent and give it a relevant name. So we've added our AI agent node. So make sure it's connected to this. Then we added a chat model and we're using Open Router. So that's how you're going to add the chat model, as well as the memory and tools. So let me delete this. Now for the chat model, we are using Gemini 2.5 Pro from Open Router. And if you're familiar with Open Router, this is Open Router. So it's openrouter.ai. You'll need to set up an account with them. And then you'll need to make sure you've topped up credits. And then you're going to generate an API key. Then create an API key. Copy that API key. So you're going to create an API key. So give it a relevant name. Create the API key. Copy it. Then you're going to go back to your n8n workflow. You're going to create a new credential. You're going to paste your API key, and then you're going to save. So let's look at the creative director's configuration. So we are feeding it the product description and the video suggestion. And this video suggestion is, we are feeding it from the form submission. So on the left menu, you look at the on form submissions output, and then you'll drag and drop the description right there. Make sure you label it so that the AI agent knows exactly what this is and what this is. And then for the product description, we are feeding it from the previous node, the analyze image node, and then we are dragging and dropping the description. And then we are requiring it to output in a specific output format. So that's why we've turned on this. Once you turn on this require specific output formats, it's going to add another output here. And then you're going to click the plus button. You're going to select structured output parser. And then you are going to select autofix format. So in case it fails to fix it in this format, it's going to use AI to autofix it. So you'll hook it up to the AI, the chat model tool. Now let's connect it back. Let's save our workflow. So this is the structure we wanted to output in. So we need it to describe the scene, the style, the camera, the lighting, characters if there are, the dialogue if there are any, then the audio, the motion, the resolution, duration, color palettes, effects, and then the narrative. Now, based on the output, we're going to feed it to this sub workflow. So this is an execute another workflow node. So in this plus button, you're going to search for execute sub workflow. Select it. Now, this is going to trigger another workflow. So in n8n, we call it a sub workflow. And so this is the sub workflow. Let's copy it to editor and pin it. So if you're creating this from scratch, you'll just create a new workflow. So give it a relevant name. So in my case, I'm mentioning that this is key.ai Veo 3.1 fast image to video sub workflow. So whenever I need to create a video using an image and using Veo 3.1's API endpoint, I'm going to use this sub workflow. So I'm going to add a when executed by another workflow trigger. And to add that, you're going to click on the plus button. At the bottom of the list, you're going to select add another trigger, and then you're going to select when executed by another workflow. And it's going to add it to your canvas. Now you're going to configure your when executed by another workflow trigger. So when you add it, it's not going to have these fields. So you'll add, it's going to only have an add field button. So how you add these fields, you just simply select add field and then give it a relevant name and then define the type. These are the fields that I added. So the video prompts, the aspect ratio, the image URLs of type array, and then the generation type. This is all based on key.ai's Veo 3.1 endpoint. So we'll go to key.ai and we'll navigate to our Veo 3.1 API. So it's the Veo 3 API, and you'll see this gives us the playground where we can test before we set it up in n8n. If you want to have a look at the API section, you're going to click on the API tab. It's going to take you to this page, and you're going to get the documentation of this endpoint. Now, based on the endpoint documentation, this is all the input that we require to generate a video from an image. So we're going to feed this to a HTTP request node. So this is a HTTP request node, which we renamed it to submit generation request. And then we set up credentials with key.ai. So if you go back to key.ai, if you navigate to the API markets page, on the left you'll see a menu. So you'll click on API key. You're going to create a new API key, and you'll go back to your workflow. So this is a HTTP request node. So you'll just search for a HTTP request node, and it's going to add itself on the canvas. And then this is how you're going to configure it. So the endpoint URL is this, and then we are going to add an authentication. So remember, you've copied your API. So remember, you've copied your API key. You're going to select generic credential type. Then you're going to select header auth, and then from the drop-down list, you're going to select create new credential, and then you are going to fill out these details. So from the documentation, it's supposed to be, so you're supposed to use authorization. So you'll copy this authorization. Now for the value, let's toggle to let's use the expression mode, and you're going to have bearer, then a space after the word bearer. So you'll go back and you'll paste it here, and then you'll paste your API key right after this, and then you're going to click save. But before you save it, make sure you give this a relevant name. Maybe you can name it to key auth or something. Then let's close this. So that's how you set up the credentials, and then you'll turn on send body. Then you're going to send body in JSON format, and then you're going to use the fields below. So we are going to use the prompt, the model, you're going to define it, so Veo 3, and then the aspect ratio, then the image URLs, then the generation type, which is reference to video, and then enable fallback is set to true. Now for the prompt, you're on the left menu, from the trigger, you're going to drag and drop the video prompts. For the aspect ratio, you're going to drag and drop the aspect ratio, as well as the image URLs for the image URLs. And then the generation type, you'll do the same. And you're going to execute this, and then it requires us to check the status. So once we submit a video for generation, we are going to check if it's done processing or if it's still processing. So for this, we'll add another HTTP request node. The method is going to be get, and this is the endpoint we are pulling data from. And then the credentials we had already set up, you're going to select this. So we are going to select the credentials we had set up before. And then we'll simply feed it the task ID. So for the task ID, you look at the previous node. So submit generation request, and then you're going to drag and drop the task ID here. Now, once we query the generation status, so it's going to get back to us with a couple of statuses. So it might tell us the video is completed generating. So if it tells us it's done generating, it's going to go down this route. So this right here is a switch node. So you'll search for a switch node and add it to your canvas, and then you'll select add routing rule, and then you'll drag and drop the success flag. So on the left menu, from the get request status node, you'll drag and drop this success flag, and then you'll need to select this drop down. The number is equal to, so is equal to, and then now for the numbers, you see we've got this success flag. So right now the success flag is 1. And when the success flag is 1, it means the video has been generated. If it's 3, it's failed. If it's 2, it also means it failed. And if it's 0, it means it's still generating. For each status, we've turned on this rename output and then give it an output name. Now, if the video is still generating, it'll go down this retry route, and then we are going to wait for 5 seconds. So this is a wait node. You'll simply search for a wait node, and then we'll set the fields. So here we'll set the task ID. So the task ID will be set here, so that when it gets back to this HTTP request node, it's going to see the task ID, the json.data.task ID. Now, once it's done generating, we are going to fetch the result URL of the final file. Now that URL is going to be fed here as the output from the main workflows execute another workflow node. Now once we have that URL, we'll need to upload it to a Google Drive folder. But first we'll need to download it. So we'll use another HTTP request node. We named it to download video, and then the method is get, and then here we are dragging and dropping the URL of the final video. And then on the right window, you're going to see the video that was generated. And then next, we are going to upload that video to a Google Drive folder. So this is a drive. So this is a Google Drive node, and the operation is upload. Now here we are supposed to give the name of the input data that you're uploading to Google Drive, and we'll get it from this right here. So it's a binary tab, and then this is the name of the file that you're uploading to Google Drive. And then now for the file name, so this is the name of the final video. We'll fetch it by using this expression, so binary.data.filename. And then here we are selecting the folder it's supposed to upload the final video. And next we are logging all these details into our database. And for the database, we are using Base.ro. So this is the website we are using. So this is where we are hosting our database. You'll need to set up an account with them. So if you don't know how to set up an account, so here under credentials, first you'll need to add a Base.ro node. So you'll search Base.ro. It might tell you to download this node. I'm not sure. And then you are going to select create row. So this is how you're going to set up your credentials. You're going to click create new credential. Then you'll need a username and password. This username and password is the details that you use to set up an account with Base.ro. When you sign up, it's going to require a username and a password. And the username and password is what you're going to use here under username and password fields. Make sure you give your Base.ro credential a relevant name, and then you'll click save. Now in Base.ro, so if you go to my dashboard, once you set up an account, it's going to take you to the dashboard, and you'll need to add a database on your left menu. So you'll just click add new. So in my case, this is the database I created, and then I'm going to select generated videos table. And so this is the database. So we are keying in the input file name, the input file URL, the aspect ratio, the description, the final video, and then the last modified date, as well as the status. I'm gonna leave this resource in the resources section. It's going to be a CSV file. So when you create a new table, you'll select import CSV file, and then you'll upload the CSV file by selecting choose CSV file. Under the fields to send, so we'll select the fields. So this is simply the columns in this database. So the input file name, so that's the input file name we'll select, and then from the form submission we'll get the file name. So if we go to the form submission, we'll upload the file name, we'll drag and drop it here, the input file from the upload product image node, Google Drive node. We'll upload the content link, the web content link. The aspect ratio, we'll get it from the form submissions output. This right here, we'll drag and drop it here. And then for the description, we'll drag and drop it here. Now for the final file, we'll get it from the previous node. So the upload final file video, we'll simply drag and drop the web content link here. And then for the status, we'll hard code it as done. And that's it with this workflow. Don't forget to leave a comment if you need to clarify on something. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And lastly, don't forget to subscribe. Remember, once you download the workflow, you'll click on these three dots up here, select import from file, select the file from your device, and then it's going to show up on the canvas. Have a good one.